Okay, this is going to be a really short video, but couldn't find anything on YouTube that explains this, so I just picked this mower up. It's another broken free mower. Oh, okay, and the problem is this rear wheel is stuck. And that's why they were giving it away, because it just locked up and it wouldn't spin anymore. So if you see in here, I've got it soaking. That's a WD-40. I took the nut off. If you're lucky, this is a bolt, so when you unscrew it, the whole bolt and wheel comes off. Well, the problem is this was just a nut, and this wheel spins. That nut's the axle, so this wheel spins and this thing stays still. Well, I don't know if it's full of rust or I don't know what happened, but it's man, I don't want to knock this thing off my ghetto rig jack here, but if you pull it, this tire will actually spin on the rim. This rim doesn't want to turn. Excuse the shakiness. But if you come down here and look, okay, I've got a light shining. Move this out of the way a little bit. There we go. Look. In there, I don't know if you can see, the gears are kind of, a little rusty, but there's nothing broken in there. And so the issue is, how do you get this wheel off? Because you don't want it's plastic. You don't want to just pry on it. So what I did is I filled this up with WD-40. We put a vice grip on this axle. And so when you turn it, you can make the wheel go back and forth. I can't do it with the camera, but what I did was put this light back. Hang on, I'm sorry. This is an impromptu. As I'm spinning the axle, I'm prying right here with this pry bar, and it's slowly prying the wheel off. So if you don't have one of these, it probably won't make sense, but if you're trying to figure out how to get it off, it'll make perfect sense. And it's working. I've almost got it off, so I just stopped and said, you know what, I should film this, because I was looking for YouTube on how to take these off, and everybody just said, oh, you just take it off. And one dude said, yeah, I beat on it with a 2x4, but I didn't want to do that because I don't want to ruin this, because there's nothing wrong with this wheel. I'm almost positive I just got to take this thing off, sand this little axle, sand it down or something. It's probably got rust or all kind of crap in there. Just sand it down and get it to where this wheel will spin on that axle again, and this thing will be fine. I already fired up, it runs fine. The cable was off in that funky pistol grip thing, but I put that back together. It's just this wheel is it's just locked the wheel off, as you can see. But if you see in there, it's splined inside the hub where we go on the axle. See those splines? Those mesh with this, and this is like a bushing. So this piece right here is supposed to slide off. This end's supposed to slide off of this. This is supposed to slide off of this axle. But somehow this thing, I don't know if this is metal or plastic or bronze or what, but it is. I mean, I can spin it a little bit. I can't really, yeah, you can see I'm turning it, but it is on there tight. So if you're having the problem like I'm having, that may be the issue, and I haven't figured out the solution yet, but if I do, I'll let you know. I just want to show you how tight that thing is on there. So I needed something to pry against with this pry bar. So I've got 3 pairs of vice grips, because when I just had this one on there, I was just pushing this one up the shaft. So I said, I put this one and this one, so it is pushing all 3 of those up. See, now I've already got it. I had it down here, and I pried. This little bushing didn't move. It slid all 3 of these vice grips up. So I'm still figuring out how to take this thing off. So we'll keep working at it. Okay, I figured it out. The problem was I was squeezing that thing too hard. I've got it to spin, if you can see, but I was really just clamping the crap out of it. And what I was doing was, that's what I was worried about. I was squeezing it against this shaft, so the axle. So I just got this vice grip on there. It's just on there barely tight enough to spin it. And if you see, there's a washer under there, so I'm prying between the washer and this pair of vice grips, and I'm getting it up. And I can't, sorry, I don't have a tripod or nothing, I can't film it, but basically I'm going back and forth with this wrench, like this, while I'm prying up, and it's coming up. So, okay, I got it off. That's it right there. And that sure looks like it's brass to me. It's hard to tell, but if you look at that thing, that's solid rust. And it is rough. Oh yeah. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna figure out what that thing is. If it's plastic or it sure is acting like some kind of metal. I'd be surprised they use brass on a lawnmower. Since they quit making them to last forever, but maybe they do. Some kind of bushing, but you can see that this is just solid rust. So apparently it looks like that's what's got, water got in there. It's my assumption, rusted that. So I'm gonna clean this all up. Now I can take this off. I'm gonna clean it up, sandpaper it, figure out what that is, and hopefully that's just a bushing. It's brass, and I'll put some grease on it. See what happens. I'll let you know. All right, let's give this a shot. Yep, I went and got the little tripod because I was like, well, this is actually even kind of interesting. At least for me. And I guess if you're still watching this, maybe for you too. Feels good. Let's see what. Let's see what y'all can see. So we'll take this. Like so. Twist, twisty, twisty, twisty. First, let's spray some WD-40 on there. They're not a sponsor. I've always wanted to say that. Jeez. Yeah, I probably need to eat. Alright. Let's see what comes out the other side. Oh yeah, it's nice and pretty. It's blown out if y'all can. The camera's picking it up, but let me change this flashlight. Yeah, I don't know if that's showing up on the camera. There's still some rust in there. I'm going to try to get some sandpaper in there. That looks like I'm doing something else. Pretty good. Oh, and this is some type of metal. I don't know if it's brass, aluminum, or whatever. It's probably aluminum. That makes more sense. But remember, I couldn't even. I mean, this thing is still rough. It's a little ridge right there. I'm gonna work on this off camera because I'd be bored by now. Okay, I sanded this axle some more and so that looks good. Mainly more for rust prevention than anything else. That's what, apparently whatever these two metals are, that's what got it the last time. One of them will rust, or maybe it's some kind of reaction between them or something, I don't know. Either way, it was not happy. Blunt force trauma. Let's see what happens. Looks about right. This stuff is good because it's a dry lube. Like, I don't know what it is, but... Ooh, man, I forgot to get the AC on. I kind of hesitate to put... Kind of hesitate to put grease on this because it's going to get all dusty and grease will attract stuff, but yeah, that's probably a bad idea. I'm going to stick with the dry lube. I don't know what's in this stuff, but it dries dry. Kind of like, I guess, I don't think it's graphite, but let's see. Quick drying, no mess around that prevents rust and corrosion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Oh, look at that. Just spinning like a little baby. Well, I don't know. Spinning like a whatever it's supposed to be. Because that thing was locked tight, brother. Nothing but a little violence can't take care of. Well, I guess the takeaways were getting this thing off. I just had to beat it off. Because I had... Let's see, let's get this back. This tool, I had bent this down, I had it jammed up in there, I was hammering, and I actually hammered the wheel right off of that bushing, which was amazing. I mean, there is no secret. You know, hopefully something I did in here helps you if you run into this problem, but it is a rust issue. Now, the thing is, I don't know what would have happened if I would have just sprayed and filled this up with some kind of rust penetrant, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that would have gone in there and eaten it out, but I don't know if you saw, but even after I had the wheel off and I was trying to get that bushing off, that WD-40 had gotten down in there, but there was just so much rust and grit in there, it was just locked on. But Look at that. Yeehaw!